Hello and welcome to Prague Will Find a Way, our podcast on all things progressive music. I'm Jonathan Block.
And I'm Jay Valade.
And today we've talked about this. We told you this was coming, and it's here, the super deluxe edition of Tales from Topographic Oceans by Yes.
Absolutely. So if you're listening, you're not going to get as much out of this as if you're watching on YouTube, because there are, it's a big set that we're going to show off.
Lots of visuals. So head over to our YouTube channel. Every episode is both a podcast and a video cast.
Yes. So a little history here. So Tales from Topographic Oceans was a double album by Yes, released in 1973. And it came on the heels of Close to the Edge. So Close to the Edge comes out. They do their big tour.
Bruford leaves.
Right
Sorry,
after they.
your table.
That's all right. Right after they finish Close to the Edge, the album, and Alan White takes over on drums for the tour.
Yes Songs.
They do this whole thing. Yes Songs comes out, which is kind of the encapsulation of Yes so far up to that point, right? The triple live album that they, over the top. And then they said, what is Yes going to do next? Put the Bible to music? So John Anderson famously says, "I'll show you suckers. I'm going to do it."
So he
doesn't do the Bible.
Right.
But he does, they do a double album, one song per side, all about...
it's the autobiography of a yogi. Is that what it is? And
yeah,
where did he get the idea?
From Jamie Muir from King Crimson. So it's an interesting
what's
situation.
The story?
So basically, I think they were at Bill Bruford's wedding or something, and Jamie pulled John off to the side. They're talking, and he hands him the book and says, "You got to read this." And Jamie later leaves King Crimson to become a monk, but
and a painter,
So John reads the book, and he's looking for something to hang like a big concept on. And he comes across this footnote in the book about these 4 portions of this Shastric scripture that relate to different avenues of life or the explanation of life, sort of, right?
Yeah.
So he says, that's what I'm going to do. He goes into depth on the album notes about what each one represents, so we won't get into that. But it's very interesting because this is where they branch out even more on this album, and they kind of go nuts. It became the poster child of the Prague haters,
right?
But it also kind of just it gave Yes an opportunity to just kind of stretch out, and it doesn't have any singles on it, or it just kind of...
Well, they tried. They did make singles.
Some of it meanders around a little bit, but that's kind of part of the what's good about it.
Right.
Is it's not this concise little thing. It just kind of goes. It doesn't force you to concentrate on like even a 10-minute song. They just kind of go. Rick Wakeman famously, keyboard player in the band at the time, said, "There's too much padding. I don't do enough. Whatever." And, he'd go next door, and Black Sabbath was recording next door, and he'd hang out with those guys while John Anderson, Steve Howe, Chris Squire, and Alan White are getting down to it. So the album comes out.
Yeah, but those criticisms, I think, are valid for the time, but they're still constrained by 20-some-odd minutes.
Correct.
So when you listen to things that came beyond, particularly in the CD area, where people talk about padding, actually, it's when you listen to it now, when I've listened to it now, it's actually pretty darn concise. Like,
it is.
Those arguments don't really
They
hang.
don't, and I think that people were like, "Oh my God, you can't even. It's so non-commercial. You can't really get into it." There's nothing that's over the top crazy about what they're doing here. Relayer, the next album, was much more out there musically.
Right. It gave them a chance to stretch out with different ideas, but it's not... Even if you know the story, you've read the book, and you know the lyrics, it's not really a story from beginning to end.
No, and it doesn't bang you over the head with any sort of...
But it's really 4 separate pieces. It really is.
But there is stuff that kind of ties the whole album
of
together.
Course.
Sonically, it's kind of the same palette. There are moments, of course, within all the songs that are different.
Right.
But it kind of has the same... they're the 4 movements, but whatever. But there's stuff on the third one that is just out there crazy.
Yeah, I'd say
But
that's the one out there too. But if you look at it in the time, like how long did it take him to write it? Not that long.
no,
And what I've always found fascinating is that it's not in the classical sense where there's a repeat of themes. There
right.
really isn't. So to me, it really is four distinct pieces
Oh,
of music
for
that
sure.
they had to. You can tell by listening to it where it was like, okay, we're going to jam out here, we're going to do
Yeah.
that. But then a written part comes or something Steve Howe did, and it's an album that in this new version I've listened to it differently, and
Yeah.
I think I like it more than I even initially when it first came out a couple of weeks ago. We were talking, I was like, yeah, I like the first and the second sound good, but now I've listened to it multiple times and I actually enjoy this Steven Wilson remix that we'll get into
Yeah.
versus before.
And I also found it, that it critically, was a mixed bag for them. But at the same time, over the course of time, it was always pointed to as like the
Yeah.
jump the shark of progressive rock.
Of course. Well, you have
But
to
I
have
don't
those.
really, when you think about it, in the broad scheme of all the recorded music that Yes has done and other bands, right?
Right.
It's like they were not allowed a misstep. It was like this was it.
Right.
How dare they? And people wrote them off.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Versus
and
now people put out albums all the time and nobody pays any attention if they do something that's a little out there, and then they go back and they do whatever later. It seems like people have hung their hat on this was the thing that was the nail in the coffin for prog rock, but I don't really get it. It was one moment
Right.
in time that they released this thing that was not so crazy that it should turn people off. Maybe it was because they were so popular and people were like, how dare they, as a big popular band, hoist this on the public.
Part of it was, I think, too, that it was, okay, prog is bad enough and extreme, and now one of the major bands it puts out a double album. So none of the big bands had put out double albums by that
Yeah.
time, right? So this is, I mean, not counting the live, right?
Yeah,
Not counting
not-
live
not counting
albums.
live.
Because you got Pink Floyd, no double album, except the live one.
Yeah.
Yes, 3 album, ELP. So at this point, no double albums, right?
Right.
This is 73, so the Not Works has not come out. The year after
The
that
Lamb
is
hasn't come
Lamb.
out.
So then you get into some of the double albums, and you could argue that the Lamb has more weak points than this does.
Yeah.
So, and part of that is because they did the longer pieces with some heavy duty instrumental stuff, right?
Yeah.
It'd be different if John Anderson was singing
Constantly.
but he's not.
No, he's not.
And sonically, this album distincts between the voices more to me than any other. Like you can hit like right at the beginning, right? You got John singing 2 verses, then Chris comes in and they're singing, and then I'm assuming it's Steve comes in, and they're all obviously it's the Atmos mix in the story, but you can the
Yeah.
separation between, and it heightens it's like I said, I had not a negative view of the album, but it wasn't a Yes album I ever really pulled.
Okay.
Again, we just talked about this like a week ago, and I was like, the first song and the last song, everything else in the middle doesn't, and that's not true because I have listened multiple times, and it's actually cool. But let's get into the box.
So there is a lot on this box. So Rhino has been putting out the Yes albums from starting with the Yes album, Fragile, Close to the Edge, and this is the 4th in their series, which is the Tales from Topographic Oceans box. Now this one is a doozy. It is the vinyl, the double vinyl. It is 12 CDs and a Blu-ray. So it is chock full.
You get remixes, you get the remaster, you get quote unquote single versions. Very cool instrumental mixes by Steven Wilson. Obviously, the Atmos mix, a new stereo mix, and then the live stuff.
So it comes with a book. It comes with the Blu-ray, 3 CDs here, 3 CDs here, 3 CDs here, and the final 3 CDs. One is in
where's the vinyl?
CD player, and then the vinyl is in the 2.
Oh,
edges,
cool.
right inside. Here.
Interesting. And what label do they use?
They use the Roger Dean.
Okay.
The problem with this box setup, and they've done it for all of these, so they have to kind of stick with it, is it's really hard to get the vinyl and the book out.
Wow.
So it's just like the original.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I haven't actually listened to the vinyl yet. But it's got the Tales from Topographic Oceans cover, Roger Dean.
Make a good picture disc or a colored
Yeah,
disc,
right.
right?
Well, I actually, my family got me a clock, and it's the Tales, one of the
Oh,
Tales
okay.
records, and it's a clock,
Nice.
and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Where they cut
Oh, wow.
the time, but
Wow.
but it's the
Yeah,
Tales.
see, I mean, there's a big
Tales
runoff
later.
there. It's not like it's, 30 minutes. It's not like it's a 2-hour album, I mean, it's close, but
So they do that. So that's
how's the
basically
book?
the box.
Okay,
the
how's
book,
the book? Is the book
so far
is the book keeping with the tradition of screwing up the
no
timelines? No,
This
wow.
is the first one, and maybe I just haven't looked
Fourth
deep enough.
time's a charm.
But the
Okay.
book is they've got the original insert
right.
which is all the lyrics and John Anderson's kind of explanation about what this album is all about. Then they have a write-up, few bands inspire obsession, loyalty, and arguments like Yes, and it's basically about the fandom and how Tales is one of the touch points of arguments
Right.
within the Yes community.
Right.
But it was March 3rd, 1973, Bill Bruford's wedding, that that the book. So it's a pretty long.
Now, is it somebody wrote that? Is there interviews with people?
No, this is. I mean, it goes on.
Who wrote it?
It's Sid Schwartz, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Now,
But no new contemporary interviews with like Rick or John
I don't
or
believe
anything?
so.
Okay.
it's more of a story of the Tales album, which is it's very interesting. I think the only negative I have about this is that it is kind of negative.
Oh.
It harps on Wakeman's discontent a lot.
Right.
This essay, as opposed to how it was groundbreaking for them or furthered the music. It's more about the internal strife.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious if he thinks the same. And I mean, I said this a few episodes ago, but Rick should just pick out the good bits he likes and make a Topographic Oceans sonata.
Well, which I think we should get to. But so on the album itself, we have a original album remaster. Okay. That's 2 discs.
Yep.
Right. Then we have a Steven Wilson 2026 remix of
which is the stereo remix.
A stereo remix.
Yep.
Then we have Steven Wilson's 2026 instrumental mixes.
Yes.
So the same mix that he did the new remix is now instrumental.
Very cool.
Right?
Very
and
nice.
then we have Rarities, which is 5 single edits from the, one.
Was it that time? Are they from that
time? No,
these
I think are just things.
There was nothing. Was there
anything
released from it? Was there an excerpt?
I don't think. What I understand is that they had like banded copies for radio play.
Okay.
But I think that the banded copies were not done in such a way that they were released as singles.
And you don't own one of those copies.
I do not. Okay. And then they have some in progress of each of the songs. So some of these have been released before, and some of them have not been.
Yeah, because some are in progress, some are version this, version that. Yeah. It gets a little.
There's a lot.
I know. But that again calls to the fact that the amount of music, that the fact that they did multiple versions of each of these is just insanity.
But a lot of them seem like they're working copies opposed to
it's not like there's some radical. It started out sounding different. Like there's bits of Gates of Delirium there or whatever. No,
some of the stuff is sped up, some of it's slowed down, but the framework is all pretty much there.
Yeah.
So we've got that. That's disc 7. Disc 8 and disc 9 are more in progress. So, that's 3 discs basically of demos, different versions, things like that. People have complained, like, what's the point of the singles? Actually, back in the day when I would make mixtapes or whatever, I would try to create a single out of it so that I didn't. If I'm making
somebody with 26 minutes of a revealing, right? Science. Instead, I can give them 3 minutes.
Right. So I think this is actually good for people to put on playlists or whatever. Right. It might not be your listening experience, but if it's in a mix of prog or something that you're putting out, it doesn't. I don't think it's a bad thing.
No.
Then we have live from 1973. So one of the things with this is that there have been live versions of these songs that have been released, but none from the actual tour.
Right.
So this is the tour with Rick Wakeman
Yep.
playing. Most of the ones that you hear via bootleg or on Yes shows or whatnot are with Patrick Moraz.
Right.
So this is the one.
Having said that, the Yes shows Ritual, you cannot beat that version.
It's
That
awesome.
is the awesome version. I don't care that Rick's not on it. That version is insane.
So, not that they're scraping the
Aside.
barrel, but some of these are, they're partial songs.
Yeah, they're not complete. Unfortunately, this is like what's happening now. Same thing we talked about it with the Wish You Were Here box set. So in
You
those
get what you
cases,
get.
you have people that bootleg the show but did a damn good job.
Yeah.
You don't really get that with this, right? You get crappy sounding bootlegs, and there's some that sound a little better than bootlegs. I've only listened to the live stuff once.
It doesn't bug me.
It doesn't bug me, but
it's
it's
better
not
to have
something-
it than to not have it.
Yes, as the singles and all that other
Yes.
stuff. Because let's be honest, if it was 10 discs rather than 12 discs, it would still be the same amount of money. It's not like they're going to charge less. So I don't understand some of those complaints.
So we get two shows from 1973,
Right.
where they play. We get 3 out of the 4 songs, but the Ancient,
twice.
right? And then we have a 1974 show from Zurich, which one of the songs was Ritual was on the previous Pangyric release,
Right.
But they also include, so it's And You and I and Close to the Edge,
Okay.
but they don't have the Remembering.
Now, so there's no remembering whatsoever.
There's a Remembering.
Okay,
in
right.
73, but the Zurich
okay.
show doesn't have the
Got
Remembering,
it,
but it has
okay.
the other 3.
So you could create your own using this revealing, choosing out of 3 ancients.
Yeah, and 2
and
rituals.
then 2 rituals.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And then there's the Blu-ray, which has an Atmos, Steven Wilson Atmos mix, 5.1 mix, stereo remix, stereo remaster, instrumental mix. So
the entire box on the Blu-ray.
basically,
I mean, which is great. That's good.
So my take from this is I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. The Steven Wilson mixes I think are really good. Yep. The Atmos mix I think is fantastic.
Yep.
There's some clarity there with, like you said, with the vocals. That's really good. I don't know. So the previous one, the Pangyric one, was a pretty good set as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
But as far as what they had in it, it was, some of the books and the stuff that they have in the old book are better than what's in the new book.
I know.
I know. The ticket stubs,
Right.
the
Live
shots.
I know. When is this version from? I have this version. That was the...
This is the one that came out probably 10 years ago.
Okay. I don't know if I have this one. I have that one. That was the one before it, right?
2016.
Okay, yeah.
So it is 10 years ago, right?
Right.
So, but it had a really good,
oh yeah.
Not that I want them to repeat the same thing, but it was a good thing.
You shouldn't lose.
More so than this one, which is where I think that kind of falls apart a little bit.
But musically, sonically,
it sounds great.
This had a Blu-ray too. I don't remember this. Was it just this album? They did.
Oh no, they did.
They did them all.
Yeah.
Why did I miss that? The Rhino stuff I had.
Yes. So Rhino was just the double album, but there was
the In Progress or the couple of the In Progress.
It had a couple
thing.
in progress,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Bonus tracks was Dancing with the Dawn,
right?
Dance of the Dawn, studio run through, and Giants Under the Sun.
Yeah, I missed this whole series. I don't know why.
Oh, they're really good.
I don't know why.
There's some great things
Really?
on it. Yeah, that don't show up on the box sets.
Huh.
Okay. We'll visit that
We'll
offline.
Okay, or maybe we'll make an episode. So I agree with you on the. So let's talk about the sound since you brought that up.
Yeah.
So, like most of the S box sets, the entire box is available digitally, so you can get it on any of the streaming sites. However, it's kind of mislabeled. The first disc is labeled as the 2016 remixes. Remastered on Apple Music, but it's not. It's actually the Atmos mix. So if you want to listen to the Atmos mix, and then you get the stereo mix and everything else. I think, to me, the biggest surprise on this album is Alan White. So, you know, you talk about the sonic separation and everything. He sounds damn good on this album. So I have a renewed respect for his playing because, you know, like I listen to Yes songs and it's okay, but you can tell it would be better if it was a year later, you know, like it'd be a bit. So this is like his first Yes
Still
album.
love Yes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying this is
Yes
his
songs.
first Yes studio album.
Sure.
And he sounds really good on it.
And when you think about that, I mean, at the time, they spent a long time in the studio making this. But relative to today, it was like nothing.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
And they spent a lot of money making it too.
Right.
But again, it's nothing compared to
we used to joke about Alan White. We haven't really since he passed, but remember it was like we used to talk and it was like, oh yeah, well Alan White wrote that, right? He used to always say he pretty much wrote everything. But then it turns out he actually did play the piano on something on Tales, so that was a surprise.
No, well, and I think it's probably true, but I mean yes. Leave it at that.
Yeah, it's funny.
But because you're in the studio, he probably did come up with these
I'm
ideas,
sure he did.
and then they just went with it.
So I think if you enjoy this album, there's no reason why you would not enjoy this box set.
It's a lot,
right?
It's a lot. Even the problem is half of the stuff I've listened to in the car, half of it I've listened to, here at home, but it's hard to keep track of everything.
And they're pulling like has happened with the past ones, and we've talked about. They're pulling some live stuff for Record Store Day.
Yes, Record Store. Yeah, Record Store Day is going to be a triple album again.
Okay.
I didn't even look at which exact tracks they're going to use.
We're assuming. Well, it could just be the Zurich. It could just be the one show or nothing. But but are you planning on getting that?
I am planning on getting that. So Record Store Day has that.
Yep.
John Anderson's True album with the Band Geeks is getting re-released for Record Store Day with a more
a new cover.
A new cover
that
is a little more on brand.
Okay, good. Okay. That's good.
And then what else was Record Store Day that I was interested? XTC has a live album coming out on Record Store Day, and I think Crimson's got a double.
Yeah, Crimson's got the full Penn State show, and people have been complaining online about the cover to the point where Robert Fripp is talking to people about the cover. They're like, "Oh, it's AI, and it's not." You may not like the cover.
I read that.
You may not like the cover, but it's not AI. So that whole thing is bizarre. So are we going to Record Store Day?
Yes.
Okay. So for our loyal fans and listeners, you may remember, was it 2 years ago now? It'll be 2 years, right? I don't think it was last year.
No, last year you didn't.
Yeah.
I don't
because there wasn't anything.
Or was that was it might have been last year that we went.
Okay,
so one in the fall you didn't go to because that's the Black Friday one, and it was a much smaller.
Okay. Anyways, we did a kind of on the road video going to Record Store Day. We'll do that again.
It might not be an on the road because our local vinyl
we still have
store,
to get in a car and go there, right?
We do, but it will be a short.
Well, yeah, the preamble will be shorter than last time because the record store may be in the same town. But anyways, okay. So
also at the same time, the guy who did the Tormato book, which was the subject of our very first podcast, wrote a book about Tales from Topographic Oceans, an album listening guide, which is chock full of the whole story of Tales, from the instrumentation to breaking down every song by the second, going on.
Did you read it?
It's a lot.
Have you read it the first night you got it?
I read it. I got it when it came out, but we didn't talk about it now until.
Right. We said we would save it.
We would save it.
But do you recommend it?
I do.
Is it the same guy that wrote the Tormato book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
might have missed that when you just said
that. It's the same format.
Okay.
So he goes through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting because of, he's down into the minutia of every little thing with the colors of the album artwork, but it's a good book if you love Topographic Oceans. So if you don't, you'd be like, snooze fest.
Right.
If you think the album's a snooze fest,
But speaking of covers, that's actually so the cover. So where are we here? Is this the true colors? Because you look at the others and
Oh, I
everything's
should get my record from upstairs, and we
everything is
could look at it.
slightly
We
different.
could look at it.
Yeah, why
The
don't
vinyl.
we'll pause here, and Jay's gonna go get the vinyl so we can compare.
If I have it,
if he has it.
my
So
son
either
might
way,
my son might have stolen.
okay. Either way, there's gonna be a pause. So. All right, we're back. Jay's
are
got
back.
this is the original
This is
vinyl.
the original
Okay.
vinyl. Well, my original
U.S.
vinyl.
or
U.S.
okay,
So,
more brownish.
right, this is the original record, the original inside,
Okay,
the original
labels.
labels.
The Atlantic
right?
Group. Yep.
Same thing.
Okay.
So, the difference, though, if you look at this color, I mean, if we're going to get into it,
I'll hold this one.
the Rhino or the original re-release back from 2003 really is
21st
close,
century. Yes,
right?
very close. Yeah.
Right, and then the Pangeric one with all the 5.1 surround sound stuff is a little different in color,
Yep.
slightly.
Yep.
But then the new one is much
Blues rather than browns. I don't want to open it up and mess up.
But you could see, yeah, it's
and then the front
the front is
is
a
like
bit
this. Yeah. So you got just brighter and more.
But it's different.
It is different. So it's just recolored.
It is
It looks
recolored. I think
so.
Roger.
This is not the. You don't think Roger had anything to do with it, or maybe?
Oh, he
did?
probably
Oh,
did.
Probably did. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't think he
Yeah.
repainted it. I think it's
Yeah.
just the.
Yeah.
But it's some of it seems like a little
Right.
grainier than.
It definitely
here.
is. It definitely is.
But
So-
they took away stuff that Roger didn't like,
Oh. Okay.
like the kind of current
Oh, right.
that the fish
yes,
are in.
Yes.
They took out because John had Roger add that, and Roger
Oh.
never liked it. I guess
Okay.
so it's the story that I've
And now
read.
that John's not, now that Roger doesn't have to answer. Well, actually, they don't have to answer to anybody because
Right.
they don't own.
They
this
don't
stuff
own it anymore.
So interesting.
So-
You'll find that in no other podcast, a comparing of all the different versions. No, seriously, because when I first saw this, I was like, because
It is brighter.
oftentimes
For
you're like, oh, is
sure.
this what the original? You
Yeah.
know, it's like Court of the Crimson King. You know,
Yeah.
the like 5 different versions with different hues of reds
Yeah.
and blues.
But
Interesting.
it's a gorgeous box
Of
set,
course, it's gorgeous. Excellent.
right?
Yep, but the music. Luckily, the music's great.
Yes. But it is a lot.
It's a lot.
It takes. I can't discern from some one version to the other to the other to the other
Right.
sometimes. Because I'm just listening to it, and then they're long songs. I'm not usually in the car long enough to
Right.
really
Yeah.
listen to the whole track. So it's sometimes
I listen to the live stuff and the run throughs of everything once, but I don't see myself doing that. I really like like I said, I
The new
love the
mix.
Atmos mix, and I love the instrumentals. It's just cool.
yeah.
But the Atmos,
I haven't listened to the new instrumentals with the 2026
right.
mix.
Yeah, it's really really good. But excellent with the Atmos mix. Excellent with the Atmos mix. So that's Tales.
Tales from
Now
Topographic Oceans.
is the new Yes touring this album or
No, I think
No.
they're doing Fragile right now.
okay, again?
Yes,
Okay.
they're doing Fragile now, and
And
then
they're saving Relayer for next
next century.
next time it's re-released. And so that's next, right? What's next?
That would be
Relayer?
next. Well, they haven't said anything yet.
Okay. But as far as the Prague Will Find a Way Yes box set watch goes, we now move on from Tales
To
to Relayer. And that is going to be an interesting
Right,
box
because
set.
everyone and their mother online is just salivating over what live stuff is going to show up, because they did tape a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
and that stuff has showed up, and they were on the radio with it a lot and all that kind of stuff. There were these, I don't know if it's a King Biscuit show or whatever. There were multiple versions of live things that had come
But
out.
but with Relayer, that's a case where they should have 2 full shows from different parts of the tour, right? Because
Right.
one of them was the solos.
The
thing,
solos, right?
Was that 76 as opposed to 75?
Yeah, I think
okay.
that the Relayer tour proper was first.
Okay.
And then the Crab Nebula thing with the solo tours and whatever
Right.
came after that. And then, But they toured consistently through that whole time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Even when they were making their live album or their solo albums.
Yep.
So
yeah. I think that that really calls out for because the tours are so different, you know.
yeah, and another 12
Excellent.
disc, another 12.
Well, at least, you know, I mean, honestly, that's also another one where, you know, an Atmos mix and an instrumental mixes would be good. They've got to have run-throughs and all this stuff, too.
Which they'll do. Or they do, if they have enough material, they really should do like they did that Progeny set where they release a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be part of the relayer.
So this might be a little too in the weeds, and you may not know this, but was this a case where between the time Rick left, were they writing stuff? That's a long way of. So I'll give you an example. Like when Anthony Phillips left Genesis, they were really a 4-piece, and they played live that way too.
Okay.
And I don't know if there's any recordings, but you know, are there any recordings of them before Patrick? So
I don't think that there was anything that Rick did in the studio after Tales.
Okay.
I think they finished the tour. He
And
basically said midway through the tour that he wanted to leave.
That was it. Okay.
But they're like, you got to stay and finish the tour. And
Right.
he's like, all right, I'll finish the tour.
Brian Lane twisting
and
arms,
then,
I'm
and
sure.
then he left.
Left
and
and
then
did his...
And then they were rehearsing as a foursome, trying to find a keyboard
Okay, that's
player.
my long-winded way of saying that would be cool stuff on the box.
The interim
box. Well, because you get that like on some of the Crimson boxes where like somebody's not there and it's just 3 people or whatever jamming, and that stuff is cool. So
we'll get into that when we get
anyways, that's more of a segue to get out of the Tales. Any last thoughts on it?
I'm just very happy with it. Yeah. This one is one of the ones I was looking forward to most, just because I knew there was going to be a ton of material.
Yeah.
The Close to the Edge stuff, you know, we had all the Yes songs and all those live shows, so there wasn't you know, they did put another live show on there.
Right.
But
did you need it?
No, well, it was all the same. It was all the same.
Your life would have
6
still
songs,
been as
right?
complete without it.
Yes.
Right. It's the same tour, same like, and when you get the Progeny box set, like how many more shows do you actually need?
But I like it.
Yep.
But this was more stuff that I hadn't heard, so I think this has a good moment.
All right, so you know this. No issues with the box set.
This
fans,
is the first
2 thumbs up from us.
First one that we don't have like something to complain about.
Ringing endorsement from the Prague Will Find a Way team. And I'm as somebody who was going into it being like, yeah, it'll be all right, but whatever. You know, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Fully on board, huh?
Fully on board. I think it's really interesting. Again, the live stuff, a lot of it is one listen, but the Atmos mix is amazing and the instrumental stuff. So even if you don't want to buy it, if you have streaming, just go listen to it, particularly Apple Music, because the Atmos is cool. Yeah. It's wild with I keep forgetting to bring my earbuds because you can do the Atmos in the earbuds, but it's cool with the one because I always put it on. I'm like, okay, what did they do? Because you like turn your head. That's what you do with the Apple stuff. You turn your head, and some stuff moves with you, but some stuff doesn't. So it's like weird. John Anderson voice is moving with you because it's essentially the way the Apple implementation. It's like you're looking at a stage. Yeah. So when you turn, you should hear most of the stuff in your right. So that's kind of what they do a lot. I mean, there's trickery in moving things around, but you hear, you know, Steve's voice and Chris's voice are just sitting there. And John's voice, you can move around. So anyways, listen to it. Great. Let's keep our fingers crossed they keep on this momentum for Relayer, because that's going to be great. All right. Prague Will Find a Way.
If you wanted to.